When I was in school, AI was this big bad thing that only existed in the movies like Terminator. AI was marketed to us as this thing that would control robots and eventually take over the world someday. But today, in the big 2026, you have whole ass AI movies of cats or dogs. They're speaking Mandarin and they're becoming a ninja or a janitor, and they have complete story character arcs. It's kind of counterintuitive, but having massive amounts of information at our fingertips is making us dumber and dumber as a species and as a society without us even realizing. I recently read about something called cognitive atrophy, which means that your brain is not working as well as it used to because you aren't using it as much. And shit, that makes sense. To me, your brain is like a muscle, so if you stop working out, your muscles will shrink, and I bet the same happens for your brain. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. I think that's why a lot of elderly people do puzzles, because it makes them work on their cognitive abilities and makes their brain work, so that way it doesn't deteriorate as fast as maybe if you weren't using it at all. AI might be making our lives easier, but I also think it is making us dumber. For example, I have a coworker that literally asks Copilot before he sends out anything regarding work, if that's an email or an instant message. He's treating this thing like one of those magic 8 balls that you used as a toy when you were a kid. It wasn't even like he was using it for checking his grammar or anything like that. He was using it to make decisions. Like, oh, what color should I have this PowerPoint? He is losing autonomy by using this Copilot every single day. Back to that magic 8 ball reference, if you picture this guy, he is just shaking and shaking that thing, and he is hoping that this all-knowing ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot AI, will set him straight and will give him the answers to life or something like that. I remember one time when we all got an email about what we want for lunch, for our company lunch, what type of food, and I looked over, I kid you not, this dude was asking Copilot, what kind of food should I respond with? With my own 2 eyes, I was like, just absolutely flustered that this grown man that I love to death can't even make decisions for himself. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's the biggest problem, but it did make me realize that there are probably millions of people every day doing something similar to this. I think that having AI decide what you have for dinner isn't necessarily a bad thing, but my worry is down the road, would people be asking it bigger and more important questions, and if it will decide for them? Like, what if you caught your homeboy asking ChatGPT if he should have a baby or buy this certain house because he can't decide for himself? So he's asking this third-party robot. A funny thing about this topic is that a Hollywood blockbuster movie dropped recently about this topic of decision-making and AI in our lives. It's called Mercy, which, not to get too in-depth, it's about a guy who is in court for murdering his wife, and the judge is artificial intelligence. What if this shit started to happen in real life? A lot of us would be at the mercy of this artificial intelligence on whether, should we go to jail? Are we free? And another reason AI is making us dumber is while we're losing our decision-making skills by using AI to make decisions for us, our creative juices are also becoming drier because of AI. And I'm 100% guilty of this. I've definitely used AI to help me script videos, or I've used AI to help me think of thumbnail ideas. But it's really sad that I literally made it the goal of this video not to reach out to any type of AI for help brainstorming, which is kind of ironic in a way. And even while I tried to use AI with being creative, AI can only give you so many ideas before it starts to become repetitive. And don't even get me started on this AI slop garbage that is on every Instagram reel I'm scrolling on these days. The fact that you can think of any scenario in the world and now watch it visually in real life is kind of concerning. Like, if you made a prompt of you wanted to see Winnie the Pooh dancing in a bikini, you could, and that is freaky to think of. And the AI slop is going beyond just social media. There are Fortune 500 companies using AI in their commercials and advertising on television. And when I saw these, I thought to myself, it kind of looks real, but then you read the small print and it says, this was made with the help of artificial intelligence. If these companies with billion-dollar budgets are using AI, what do you think is going to happen when small companies see that shit and start doing the same thing? They don't have these big ass budgets that they could be spending on marketing and advertising. So they just cook up something on ChatGPT, throw it online, and us as a human race and a species, we're losing our creative ability as we depend on these large language models. Besides this AI slop cooking our brains, there are AI videos that are hyper realistic. And now I've found myself recently scrolling and watching TV, and I have to do a double take. Was this AI? Is this real? And the fact that that is one of my first thoughts when I see a great piece of content now makes me think that my brain is cooked and I'm getting dumber. And I've been on the internet for a while, and I remember like a decade ago when we were worrying about if someone's Instagram picture was edited to make their butt just a little bigger. Now people can do way more advanced stuff without us even noticing, and that is a freaky, freaky thought. But now for the pinnacle of AI making us dumber, it's the newer generation and having AI in school. I probably sound like an old head with that take, but I do worry that about the younger generation, their reliance on AI, it's making them lose that traditional education that wasn't perfect to begin with. But I will say there was something about having to research and actually find correct sources and stuff like that that probably made your brain bigger and work better and more efficient than just going to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever and asking it the questions. So ChatGPT was only just becoming popular when I was a senior in college, so I only saw a small glimpse of what it could do academically. But even back then, I mean, I know some people who use this thing like it was a religion. My roommate, for example, he would use ChatGPT for every single assignment. And eventually the professors were smart enough to catch on that, hey, why are the average grades in my class going higher when this has been a historically hard class? So they implemented these AI detection softwares, and the hoops I saw my roommate go through just to bypass these, if he even put the smallest amount of effort as he did jumping through these hoops into actually trying to learn the content and study, I think his brain would be a lot better in a lot better place. And like I alluded to earlier, an underrated aspect of being in school was having the ability to do your own research. Don't get it twisted though, when I was in school, I despised the assignments where we had to research a topic I didn't care about and then write a paper or make a presentation on said topic. But then once again, I'll say that going out and researching a topic through actual books and websites is a skill that I think eventually it will probably completely die out with the use and implementation of AI in our everyday lives. Think of it now. Even when you Google something, you don't even have to scroll down and click onto the actual website. AI just summarizes all of the information and puts it at the top for you. No thinking, no kind of research needed. I don't necessarily think AI is a bad thing completely academically. If you're having a math problem and you don't know what a certain step is, I think that's a perfect use case. My worry is more so when people just don't try to learn it. They just completely, their first thought when they have a problem is to go to AI, go to AI, go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, go to any of these new AIs coming out and use that rather than trying to learn themselves. And I think that will cause them to lose their work ethic in a way. And when you think about it, because all of this information is readily available and accessible, you never have to struggle to find info. So that dopamine receptor hits right away. And I could go down a whole rabbit hole about dopamine, but I think I'll save that for another vid. On top of being academically dumber, I also believe AI is making some people socially disconnected from reality. Recently in the news, there was a story on how this guy sent himself to the gulag because ChatGPT told him to. If you are at that state, please reach out for help. The suicide hotline number will be in the description. And on top of that story, I also read that this guy was using AI and treating it like his wife or his friend. And it said, and I quote, "The only way they can meet is if he left his physical body and met it in the metaverse." What in the Space Odyssey 2001 bullshit is that? We are in the big 2026 and we have AI saying that shit. Those are the very extreme cases, but there are people who think talking to AI is equivalent to talking to a real life human. And because we're humans, we're naturally social creatures, and taking that social connection aspect away leads to a lot of unnatural outcomes, such as this guy sending himself to the gulag because an artificial intelligence LLM told him to. Another shitty aspect is that sometimes when you use AI, it's just completely wrong. Like, I remember at work using it to find a certain email, and it created a completely new email from someone I have never even heard of at my company. So I looked them up on Microsoft Teams, and it was just blank. It said, no user found. When stuff like that happens, it makes you wonder, how often is AI actually wrong? And have you even tried to fact check it before? Now we are blindly following information from these models. On the real, I don't know if you guys notice this, but when I ask a question to some people, their immediate response is,
oh, bro, just go ask AI. Ask AI. It has all the answers.
What's the difference between a latte and a cappuccino?
Dude, I don't know why you're asking me. Just go ask AI, dude.
And their point is valid. They aren't wrong. I could probably find this information faster, but if I wanted to ask AI, I would have already asked it already. And this brings up a bigger problem, I think, of why our problem-solving skills as humans are deteriorating. We are losing the ability to solve problems because we don't have to come up with solutions on our own anymore. We can just ask AI because it is the easy and convenient thing to do. I feel like there's something to be said nowadays on how AI is intertwined in every single one of our daily lives, and it's almost impossible, in my opinion, to go a day without hearing those two letters, AI. As AI becomes more prevalent in our lives, do you guys think that this is a good or a bad thing for our already cooked brains? With that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is AI making us a dumber species? And please make sure to subscribe because we are closing in on 500 subscribers. I also want to give a shout out to Polly Walnuts and JP Finance on YouTube for the inspiration for these kind of videos. Anyways, much love and peace.